Welcome to Pop Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zoltan Hall.
And I'm Caden Majorana.
For our first time ever doing this, we're doing a topic on Disney and its many new shows up and coming, especially one of the new latest ones that just came out, which is Snow White.
Yeah, Snow White. Yeah, there's been a whole slew of controversy concerning that movie for a number of reasons, biggest one of which is it is less than subpar.
Yeah, you're right about that, Kaden. I actually just recently talked to somebody about it, and in doing so, they actually mentioned how the dwarfs from it looked so weird. I think they said it like scared them, and frankly, I can see why. Here's the photo that I found of it. It's very uncanny. It's not the best.
Yeah, the dwarves are a CGI uncanny valley nightmare.
Oh yeah. A lot of people did say that. During our time and actually studying, we actually did learn a couple of new things about it. Like, what are some things that you could say about it?
I could say, well, there's a bunch of factors that make this movie dismal. The casting choice, granted, Rachel Zegler does have a good singing voice, but her acting is subpar. She's either too inanimate or too animate at times, and it's been reported that she just doesn't have a fondness for the character she's playing. She didn't do her research and just went in on this role with a relatively negative outlook.
Yeah. I think starting out when people were first talking about Rachel Zegler, with her being of Hispanic descent, a lot of people were unsure about her being a good fit for Snow White, who's so typically seen as white as snow, as they described her. So, in some cases, some people described eating a poison apple would be better than actually watching this movie, which is so upsetting to know because a lot of people really cherish this movie. This was a movie that was very popular, especially it being for the first ever animated movie fully presented by Walt Disney. It's kind of upsetting for a lot of longtime Disney fans, and especially for me, who's somebody that has watched Disney for so long and just participated in so many of like Disney events.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Disney as well, and Snow White is the movie that built the Walt Disney Company. When it was created, Walt Disney was taking a big gamble because cartoons back then were only a couple minutes long, and he went with more than an hour, like a feature-length film. And despite the seemingly outdated pretenses in the movie, there's like criticism about Snow White's character being bland, the love plot being too on the nose, stuff like that. Despite that, it still holds up pretty well. You know, it's a fairy tale. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more simple because its target audience is children. And, you know, classic happily ever after and stuff like that. Whereas in the newer one, they tried to implement politics and certain facets that some people might see as quote-unquote woke. One of the big things they changed is to make a prince, not a prince at all, but a thief named Jonathan, who has to be rescued multiple times. I believe at least 3 times in the movie.
Yeah, it's upsetting. It's very, very shocking and very, very odd. Definitely talking about it, like saying as in the terms of how originally in the movie of Snow White, it was definitely weird, for sure, to have a guy, he comes out of nowhere, he sees this beautiful girl who's as white as snow and decides to kiss her. Which, granted, yes, it brought her out of her little sleep state, her little moment. But, like, in all, it was just weird. It was very weird and very awkward. But that was a big important part of the movie. And it was definitely showing off this trope of damsel in distress. And yes, with our times that we are currently in, women don't really typically go through that as much anymore now. But knowing that fact of changing his whole personality and character was definitely a big change. And I know that was definitely so weird to kind of just realize he became more of a background character than he really had importance in the original movie. Because, without him, she wouldn't have woken up.
Yeah, he doesn't have much of a role in the news story besides getting himself captured, being a bit basically a fool. Almost everyone in the movie is quote unquote rather lacking in the IQ department, except for Snow White, whose character is changed, not necessarily for the better.
This has been a great segment and a great time talking. Hopefully, we get to do this again on Pop Talk. But other than that, I'm Zoltan Hall,
And I'm Ken Majorana.
and this was Pop Talk. Thank you guys for joining, and we hope to see you guys next time.